Actually, the forum this morning is talking about bringing culture and heritage alive. A lot of guests has shared that we have already been living in ICH, including milk tea. The next section is highly related to our daily life because we are already living in it. It is all about culinary. We have a bite of ICH. We are very honored to have George Tang. She is a very famous chef as well as an expert in cookery. She is going to share with us her observations and experiences. At this time, I would like to invite two of our moderators, including Ms. Jaffa Lam, Academic Head, Hong Kong Art School, as well as Mr. Kenneth Wong, Research Development Manager, Hong Kong and South China Historical Research Program, Lingnan University. Would you please be on stage to have a dialogue with Ms. George Tang? And I would like to introduce to you about Ms. George Tang. Ms. George Tang is the 26th generation of the Pingshan Chang clan. Starting from the age of 15, she learned to cook in her family's restaurant. In 2010, she started her own business, George Kitchen, of which she is the executive chef. She is not only proficient in French and Chinese cuisine, she is also very talented in writing, painting, and designing, bringing a very distinctive flair to her culinary art. A bite on ICH. I'm passing now the time to all of you. Hello, George. Hello, Jaffa. Hello, Kenneth. You are the moderator today. You're in charge because you're the chef. So would you please start off? My pleasure. Hello, everyone. I am George Tang. I am a chef. I live in an ancestral house with a history of 300 years. I would like to show you my home. Would you please play the video clip? This blue brick village house with a new Chinese New Year posters. It is restored just last year. It is owned by the 25th generation of Tang clan. George Tang, the 26th generation of Tang clan, is now living there. She's the cousin of William Tang. It is the wish of my father. He's always want to restore this ancestral house. After migrating to Australia, it has left abandoned. As I returned last August, you can find the weeds up to my waist. I'm born in this place. As a ward village girl, I really want to go out, but now I want to come home. I'm living in a house with 200 of history. Why didn't I preserve it? 10 years ago, she and her brother already has the plan to restore the house, but it is up until their father was 19 years old in 2012 that they really kickstart the plan. I'm not telling you how much I've spent. I am actually selling my house in Happy Valley to go to the training of Le Cordon Bleu. It is taking about $1 million, but this house is costing us more. We want to do it for 3 months, but at the end, we spent a year and 3 months. You can see all the canopy and all the fascia there. And as you can see, we are taking the Kunting Study Hall as a blueprint, and we're creating a miniature here. In the Kunting Study Hall, they are using blue windows. As you can see here, we are burning it into cloisonne. So clearing all the weeds, putting all the new tiles on the roof. Apart from the modernized kitchen, all decorations in the house is highly historical. The most special items are the lights created out of the image of bird cages. It is costing a lot of time and money. Is it worthwhile? Yes, it's worthwhile. I'm learning cookery for myself, and this house is also for me. Of course, it belongs to my dad. My dad was ill early on, and he is now staying in the elderly homes. He still having the chance to look at it. I hope that he can see it in his own eyes. I'm already feeling very comforting that I can finish it within his lifetime. Hello. Hello, everyone. I just received, when I first received the invitation from Lingnan University of the Hong Kong school, out of school, I thought that I was going to talk about ICH and food. After communicating with Jaffa and Kenneth, I realized that you are actually asking me to share about my story with food. Well, my friends will all know that I'm the champion of the Canton, Macau, Hong Kong professional cooking competition, and I also learn Le Cordon Bleu in France. And after that, with my dad and my brother, we restore this ancestral house together. My brother is living in half of it. I'm in the another half, and I also turn it into a kitchen, alias restaurant, and also teach hotel management in the university. I'm a lecturer on culinary and food culture. As you can see, you might think that I'm a very successful person. But what are the stories behind? Well, I'm just a very ordinary girl from Walled Village. I spent my childhood in the rural areas. I spent my time in the study hall of my dad, and I enjoyed so much playing around on the canopies with the other kids. We played hide and seek all the time. When I was young, I used to eat a lot of pun choy and also char kway. As you can see in the picture, there are the herbal teas and also the glutinous rice wine chicken. Uh, Look at this. This is a frame for the flour. It can be divided into the 9 squares, 12 squares, even 36 squares. You can put the flour, a glutinous rice there, and by that you can create some dumplings out of it. Mainly all the food or the cakes or dumplings for Walled Village are for the ancestral worshipping and for the festivals. As I grew up, I came to understand that these are some ICH food. And I live in a place full of historical values. And I'm very eager to preserve the traditional food culture as well as the agriculture. When I was young, I enjoy eating pun. I don't really enjoy pun choy, and I don't like to live in a walled village. Then you might be very curious. Why would I turn from enjoying it to passionate about it, from not understanding it to be someone who can share with you today? Like all of you, I live in ICH. So you will always find ICH food around you, including milk tea and egg tart. As for me, I grew up on char kway. They are all ICH food. If one day there is no one proceeds in creating this food anymore, if all the chefs are aged and leave, then there is no one here to retain these authentic flavors for you. Talking about my ICH story, it starts in the Hamei village in Pingshan, Yunlong New Territories. You can see these are the historical pictures of Pingshan. In the middle, this is my aunt, number 5. She is on a white horse. After schools, my aunt will always go and ride horse. My grandfather has kept 5 horses. I think in Pingshan, the New Territories, we are the only family who has kept horses. The reason why I mention it is because the half house that I'm living in is actually the place for horses and chickens. My brother is living on the other side of the house. This is Pingshan. On the top is his Pingshan in 1901, and at the bottom is 2015. Isn't it hugely different? Pingshan is no longer the same. You will no longer see farmlands or ponds. Most of them has become places for cargoes. Every time I walk past, I would think if we are still not putting effort into passing on the traditional cultures, then everything that is of historical values, whether it's the memory, the food, and the agriculture, they will all disappear very soon. This is the Pingshan Heritage Trail. Pingshan is the first heritage trail. It is beginning on the 1993 December. On the top left-hand corner, you can see the canopy. This is the canopy on the top of the study hall. That is the place that we play hide and seek. As I grew up, I learned that it is actually called Kunting Study Hall. When I was young, I am unable to pronounce the first character there. I learned everything from my father. My father shared many stories about the sculptures and the stories behind. Every time I visit the Kunting Study Hall, because I still have many friends overseas, they will always join me and they will follow my father. My father will explain everything to them like a tour guide. They will tell a lot of stories. Sometimes we will came across some actual tour guide and they will also stay next to my dad and listen from them. And every time they will say thank you to my dad because they think that they are very glad to be able to listen to many oral stories. The Kunting Study Hall is being built by my great-grandfather in the memorial of his father, Tang. That is my great-great-grandfather. In 1807, it has been completed. And it is a place for both education and ancestral worshipping. At the beginning of the 20th century, because there is no longer public examinations in the traditional sense. So in the Second World War, it is still serving as a school educating students nearby, that is in the Ward village as well as in the Hanmei village. Kunting Study Hall is being selected by the Jockey Club. The Jockey Club infused some subsidies in 1991 so that the study hall can regain their glory, and I take Kunting Study Hall as a blueprint of the restoration of my house. After restoring my house, we have received a lot of attention, and I've done a lot of interviews. A lot of people will ask, why would my father spend so much money to restore an essential house? Why didn't he just tear it down and rebuild it as a house for rental income? Why didn't I and my brother do something like that? Well, what we do is just the opposite. We're spending money on it to retain its original face. As you can see, this is what you can see after restoration. But before the restoration, this house has been left abandoned for 40 years. All the roofs are gone. You can no longer find any blue bricks. Well, I have done a lot of research in the study hall, like the canopy, floor, as well as other architectural elements. Finally, I have consulted a master who is familiar in the restoration of temples. He helped us to restore the roof and the canopy. Together with Alan Zhang and Sarah Mui, two architects from Hong Kong, they infused some modern architectural elements. So they have created an interior design so that many people will be marvel at it. Anyway, they have already received a lot of architectural awards, and I've spent a year and a half to restore my house. We thought that we only need to spend 3 months on it, but it is something. The difficulties is beyond your imagination. This picture is taken in 2014. My father and the master are there before the commencement of refurbishment. As you can see, there is a red pillar. Before putting in the main pillar, they will have some religious ceremony. At the age of 90, my father still proceeds to select the pillar in the timber factory because it is something very important. We went to the Chiki sawmill and timber. They have a history of 70 years, and this is the only wood factory, a timber factory that is left in Hong Kong. Sadly, though, they were moved or even closed down because of the development of the Northeast New Territories. For the outsider, what I have shown is is just an abandoned spot, but to me, it's a treasure. The first time I stepped into this house, I saw a lot of bird cages, and in the cabinets, there are a lot of different eating utensils. So I am keeping all of them now in a walnut cabinet with glass doors. And the architects are redesigning all the lanterns to become the lighting in my house. On the top left-hand corner, you can see they are the utensils that I am able to recollect. In the middle, this is my dining table. We've selected a screen, a windscreen, and within that there are some historical books there. We are taking all these items to become our dining table. So every day when we share meals, on one hand we can enjoy traditional world village cuisines. On the other hand, we can also appreciate the images of the past. This is my daily life. Well, my house in the past was a very simplistic Scandinavian style, but now we are incorporating a lot of modern architectural elements and we are making use of traditional furniture. Just like my fusion cuisine, I would put into both elements from Chinese and Western cuisine. It's like a food play. Although it seems very modern. Look at my kitchen, it's so modern. But actually, I am making use of Rabbit. It's a brand from Hong Kong. We are using European materials and design from Europe. But this concept will not affect me to cook in the ways of my father. I will still honor the gods of cooking. I'm doing it all in the traditional ways, and I'm also making dried skins of orange in the most traditional way. Maybe you think that I'm doing that since I was young, right? I like to enjoy cooking Chinese cuisine, etc. But well, honestly, I didn't enjoy living in the walled village when I was young because you can find a well there, and there we have to live in a very humid environment. And when there is typhoon or rain, I have to put out an umbrella when we have to go to the kitchen or the toilet. It's highly inconvenient. This is a very remote area. In the past, there is no light rail. I always want to go to the downtown, the city. I don't want to stay in the rural area. When I finally have the chance to go out, I study high school in Australia, but still I live in a place that is 4 hours drive away from the downtown area. So after school, after doing all the works, I still need to do the cleaning, cooking at the restaurant. It's after 11 p.m. that I can eat. A lot of people did not know that this is my background. My family is a three-generation restaurateurs. My grandfather is a Chinese medicine practitioner. He is a very loving person. He has a tea house at the entrance of the village. He give out herbal teas to the villagers for free. And in the Tang New village, he started his restaurant and also later on a restaurant called Ho Xiaojiao. It established in 1954. My farmist father and grandfather, for the sake of the sons and daughters, they have invited a lot of masters to teach the next generations in creating food, including the barbecued meat and dim sum. And finally, my aunt has started her own restaurant in Holland, which specialized in dim sum, while my uncle had a restaurant on barbecue food and Chinese dishes in Australia. I follow my uncle to Australia. As for my generation, we are all learning about cooking in the practical way. We spend our lives at schools and the restaurants, nothing else. sometimes you have to wash the dishes, and the allergies were so serious that your hands are bleeding. And my extracurricular activity is to cook Chinese dishes, cook everything that you can find in a Chinese restaurant. And of course, if you live in that life, you will not enjoy cooking at home when you're free. Who can imagine that I can become a culinary teacher today? I studied fashion design at university. I am very rebellious. As a rural girl, country girl, I'm very rebellious. So all my design are not taking any inspirations from the Chinese culture. I will only take inspirations from Japan and Europe. How can I change, become someone who did not enjoy the ward village or cooking, to become someone who live in the ward village and to enjoy ICH so much that I become an ICH food preservation chef? Um, it is because I realized that my father is aging, and I had a car accident which changed my perspective towards ICH. And also, my parents told us a history about my ancestors, and there are a lot of stories which seems saddening, but to me, ICH is something that is very romantic. My father proceeds to restore his house within his lifetime. He said it was a place which his childhood memory. He does not want it to disappear, so that we, as we grow up, we will also share his childhood memory. Because of the car accidents that almost killed me, I began to seek my root. I started to understand the thoughts of my father. Why would he want to restore the traditional recipes? And now I am making use of the craftsmanship of my family to extend the dreams of three generations. But unfortunately, uh, in the process of the restoration, my father fell sick and he has not the opportunity to see the ancestral house with his own eyes. After my father passed away, my mother told me a lot of stories. He said that my father always tell a story. The Tang clan uh, has married a princess from the Song dynasty, and because the young person from the Tang clan is very much in love with the princess from the Song dynasty, so he gave her a wooden duck because he loves her so much. It is, of course, a myth. So they said, wherever that wooden duck go, so that land will belongs to them. That's how I understand that there is a river before each and every of our villages. This is the walled village food and also some traditional cuisines that you can find in the Jai restaurant. It's some traditional yet simple ways of display. Why did I learn Le Cordon Bleu? It is because I want to enhance the appearance of traditional walled village food. As you know, French cuisine is top of the top in Western food. Like Chinese cuisine, they have a long history of culture. And I want to learn the best in the Western cookery in order to improve my Chinese cooking. My concept is to make use of the traditional egg tarts, adding in the French macaron color to become a fusion egg tart, as you can see in the pictures. And I really want to inherit and innovate, which is very much intertwined with the concept of the Jockey Club Innovative Heritage Education Program. We want to connect the past to the present and to enhance the ICH food, adding in the new cooking elements by mingling different media and to refreshing its image so that we can attract the younger generation to continue in the path of innovative heritage. The two pictures you can see at the right bottom corner are the cuisines I cook in the Le Cordon Bleu, and all the other pictures are the dishes that I prepared after the training. Don't you find them very different? Well, I think the appearance greatly improved, and this is the spirit of how I pass on the heritage. What is innovative heritage to me? I can explain with one example. I want to ask you, what are the possibility of the variation of a shrimp dumplings? This is the different types of dumpling that I made. On the right hand side, is it a dumpling that I have with Hong Kong Eye Center. It is called a topic called Passing on North Point. We interviewed different organizations and restaurants. We learned about the stories behind and understand the dishes. At the end, we create a new fusion dishes and create an article. To me, this is innovative heritage. When I am teaching culinary and hotel management at the university, I will also teach them how can we cook authentic traditional food. This is the beef. Um, this is the beef whole fan stir fried. After teaching them, I help them to infuse in some innovative elements. Here are some two examples. On the left-hand side, it is steamed beef and black bean lasagna. On the right-hand side, you can see beef whole fan roll with black bean and salted egg. This is an example of innovative heritage. After learning about innovative heritage, I also innovate based on the heritage building that is Chasing Lao Pagoda in Pingshan. Being inspired by Chasing Lao, I create a stuffed eggplant with soybean paste, minced pork patties. Well, eggplant, soybeans are something that is commonly used in the walled village. As you can see, the shrimp crackers is a representation of cloud. Why is that so? Because Chasing Lao was originally having 7 stories. After one lightning struck, it has become a 3-story pagoda. So I am making use of this dish to tell this legend of Pingshan. If you are adding romantic elements in the traditions, together with the new technologies and various types of media, you will be able to enrich these items and attract a new generation to join us in preserving the ICH and innovative heritage. Here is another project. As I mentioned, it is a fusion recipe design that is called Via North Point. That is called, what we want to do is old meets new. I have created a glutinous rice ball with the soup base of green tea. I also publish recipe books. I hope that my cookery book can be found in the library so that the well, actually, innovative heritage is the concept of the book that I'm writing. I'm writing about dishes in Chinese restaurant as well as from the walled village, and I'm also going to write about Scandinavian dishes as well. I am very glad that through different education institutions and media, I will be able to promote the idea of innovative heritage. For example, in the secondary school, I'm teaching some secondary school students to create a charcoal, and I'm teaching people about Asian dishes, and also online, I will teach people about ICH food. I also use egg tart as part of their personal growth. On behalf of Hong Kong, I also go to Changsha. I am demonstrating how to create egg tart in the Hong Kong Pavilion in the Changsha Expo, and also went to Belgium to promote the street food of Hong Kong. Well, there are so many for us to mention. I'm blessed with so many opportunities to promote about ICH and traditional food. so that both with our heart and our stomach, we can pass on the heritage. Together with the innovative perspective, we can educate our next generation to come to learn about the importance of ICH food. I hope that through the sharing today, you will also join me to have a bite of ICH. It truly is very romantic.
No, a bite of ICH，多謝大家參與同埋參。
Thank you very much for joining my sharing. Thank you. Thank you, George. Well, I cannot let you know just that. Well, George has shared with us many interesting ICH stories, each very wide and deep. She's talking from China to the West, from the past to contemporary. As you can see, her life is intertwined with ICH. And our topic today is bringing our culture and ICH alive. And she is living in an ancestral house. There are some traditional furniture, and she cooks traditional food. She is a professional chef, and she is able to cook world village dishes as well as Western dishes. So let's ask her more questions about a bite of ICH. I am very fortunate. Last time I went to Japan together with you, I know that you are a master. You make use of everything that is remained in the kitchen and cook something out of nothing for us. I cannot give you any expectations today. We have only 9 items. Can you come up with a dish? If you have to come up with a dish that represents all these 9 items, what would that be? Someone is giving you a round of applause. Well, I will take this wooden frame. Maybe we are not creating a dish. Maybe we can create 9 types of flour because there are 9 squares here. We can create different flavors there for a qipao. We can create some spiral type flour. On the surface, you are using 9 different items, but I'm unifying them under the umbrella of ICH food. Well, I actually see that there are 16 squares, not 9. Maybe she is expecting what we're going to do next year. Well, you can add on new items, for sure. There can be 16 squares, 25 squares, or even 39 squares. Food can bring warmth to both your heart and your stomach. So I hope that ICH food can become a unified umbrella of all these different items so that people can have a broader understanding. We can actually have a lot of teaching throughout the process. Well, I'm thinking, just tell me the number of squares. We have our wooden craftsmen to craft it for you. Because we have craftsmen on wooden furniture as well as bamboo stem. Yes, our craftsmen can work together so that we can cross media and collaborate together. I very much look forward to it. Well, I am quite selfish. Since we are in the art center right now, I really want to have an ICH kitchen here. We work in the nearby area. Well, I think lunch is wanted by most people. Is it possible for us to have a restaurant which offer lunchbox that is good and inexpensive? Well, not just one. You can have more than one. I think you're not innovative enough. George, can you come up with an idea of lunchbox? I can think of more than one. There can be 3 series of it. First, it can be inheritance, innovative heritage, and also a simple vegetarian. Now you have 9 items. You can take that as an inspiration. Like pun choi, you can take the ingredients from pun choi to create a contemporary lunchbox. You can also create the vegetarian lunchbox, and also the packaging can be those lunchboxes in Indonesia. In the past, when we buy food from the wet market, they are being wrapped by grass or newspaper. You can just wrap it up like that. Some of my friends are specialized in that. They can create a stamp for the classical lunchbox. You can create a stamp calling inheritance. For the fusion lunchbox, it can call innovative heritage. And if it is vegetarian, then it is vegetarian. When people see that, they will ask, why? What's the reason for those stamps? Then you can create some remarkable memories. For example, you can have multiple possibilities in creating a shrimp dumpling. So you can also create a glass wood studio, and you can have an open kitchen there as a teaching lessons. People can both enjoy, observe, and eat. You can also have an ICH cafe or some contemporary cafe like the Starbucks. But you are making use of ICH food and the traditional dishes so that all the plating can be contemporary. Well, there are so many more. I'm sorry. I should only be talking about the possibility of one lunchbox, but now you are coming up with infinite possibilities. Yes. Can we have dumplings? You have a lot of charcoal, right? A charcoal is also having a lot of possibilities. Can we create a charcoal and milk tea cafe? You can also have some teachings there. Charcoal can become a fusion dish with many different countries. What about secondary school curriculum? Sometimes when you're introducing it to the schools, they will often ask, is there any food elements that is related to ICH? Well, it is very difficult for us. I need to seek help from the chef. For the secondary school, time is very limited. We have 3 traditional lessons and 2 innovative lessons. A total will be only 7 to 8 hours. Within 7 to 8 hours, how can we help them to create a flavor of traditions? I taught about the creation of charcoal in a cooking class at the secondary school, also including all sorts of cakes and dumplings. I think you can have 3 lessons. For example, you can create 3 food items: charcoal, the sweet cake, and also the flour dough. Because I've mentioned that just now. These are some symbolic food of the word village as well as ICH. In the first lesson, please go ahead. In the first lesson, you can teach them about traditional food. You can teach them how to create traditional charcoal. Then you can ask them to do further research. They can research about the features of food in different provinces in China. Like Shanghai, they have a taste of sweet flavor, etc. And in the second lesson, you can do innovative heritage. That means in the second lessons, you can bring in some ingredients that you prefer, including the ingredients that I provide for you. Then you can create a charcoal representing different provinces. In the third lessons is innovative. You can bring the ingredients that you would like to add in, then you can create a charcoal that you like. So it is a complete lesson plan. Well, to me, it is complete to me. What do you think? Can we kickstart? Yes, we're all ready. We just need a chef. Just now, I see there are people who are clapping hands in the audience. He is actually the intern of Brown Sugar. He is graduated already. Would you like to cross over? Well, of course, I will not encourage you to eat it right away, but we have dough figurine, brown sugar. Do you think if it's possible for them to cross over with you? Yes, definitely. I have observed the craftsmanship of these two techniques as well. Well, actually, I think that the brown sugar can become decorations on cakes. As for the dough figurine, they can become a buns, or the mantel, or some breakfast food. We can continue to innovate so that we can attract the next generation. Or maybe we can turn it into a 3D figure. I should have shown you the ducklings or the snowman buns that I helped the kids to create. I think it's something interesting. You can also create brown sugar cookies. There are many things that you can cook. Sorry, I have way too many ideas. I think there are tons and thousands of possibilities. Well, we have a number of students of brown sugar. They are all specializes in different streams. Uh, the student who is in our midst is specializing in blowing the figure of fish by sugar. Some of them are specializing in figure, fish, or even flowers. They can create different types and styles. Even without collaboration, simply by the ways of innovative heritage or by the ways of traditional means, you can still create a lot of things out of that. We have some improvement on it, right? That you will not have diabetes from it. I am also specializing in fashion design, so I think you can use different types of sugar to create it. Thank you very much. Well, George has shared so many stories with us. We really enjoyed listening from her. I really look forward to seeing having some traditional elements in our school curriculum and crossing over with different craftsmen in the future. Yes, that's my hope too. Thank you, George. Please come back soon and meet us in person. That's my wish too. Thank you, George. Thank you, George. Thank you, Kenneth and Jaffa. I know that both of you are the mastermind behind this program. Now, I would like to ask Jaffa to remain on stage. Kenneth, please be seated.